All right, we've got to be honest. When most partners hear Dynamics, they might start to think I got to run the other way. But today in Technically Unraveled, we are going to talk about why ignoring this is actually probably costing not only your business, but your clients as well. So, in today's episode, we're going to talk about the myths about Dynamics and why it's important for partners, right? We're also going to talk about what Dynamics actually does for small, medium businesses. And we're going to talk about how MSPs can actually have Dynamics offerings without having to hire the entire full team. Stick around. Hey everybody, I'm Kristen Fehrenbach, the Senior Director of Microsoft Go-to-Market here at Pax8. Thank you so much for joining Technically Unraveled. I'm super excited to be your host here. But on Technically Unraveled, we talk all things Microsoft. You've got Azure, Biz App, Security, name all the other ones. If it's Microsoft, we talk about it here. But this isn't the only Pax8 live show that you have. You also have The Game, and those are hosted by my friends Matt and Dom, and you've got Pax8 Academy live with the Academy crew. So please make sure that you like, share, and subscribe, because these people work really hard to make sure that they're bringing relevant and consistent, timely content to you at home. So they're always on demand, all that good stuff. If you don't catch us live, you can always catch up later. But today I am super excited to bring on my guest. I think we got a first timer on Technically Unraveled, and it's from TruNorth Dynamics. So let's go ahead and bring him on in. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Excellent. Thank you. Yeah, no, thank you for just spending your time with us. I know that it is a commitment, but I would love for you to just introduce yourself, maybe your name, who you are, what do you do? And I love a fun fact.
All right. So my name is Ole Gjerde. I am the CEO of TruNorth Dynamics. In my former life, I was an MSP for 20 some years. Happy to be done with that period of my life. I'm glad other MSPs are still being MSPs because we need MSPs. But I've been through the MSP life over a long period of time. But TruNorth Dynamics, we do Microsoft Dynamics, Power Platform, and kind of surrounding things like Power BI from the Microsoft ecosystem. So pretty much anything kind of business applications from Microsoft, we cover that. But that's also all we do. We are hyper-focused. And a couple other facts about TruNorth. We're a fully remote company. We actually have no office of any kind. Everybody works from home. We're about 35 people or so right now. And so it makes us a little bit unique. Thanks COVID, I guess. Before COVID, we had an office, and now we don't. So it's a good thing. Fun fact about myself. Maybe it's not that fun, and maybe a lot of people have heard of it if they've met me before. But I am originally from Norway. Grew up in Norway. Came to the U.S. for college, and here I am. 30 whatever years later. We'll stop counting
30
at 30.
whatever years. Awesome. Well, actually, I didn't actually know that. So I am super excited to have you join us today. I know that we've worked together on a lot of different projects over my time here at Pax8, and you guys have been such a great partner to everybody here. So I wanted to bring you on so we could talk about Dynamics, but because I don't want people to turn off this stream because Dynamics is so important. So, in your own words, can you just kind of explain to me and our viewers out there, why does Dynamics matter? Why should our partners care? And why should they be tuning into a show like this to learn more?
I think the simplest way to boil it down is that MSP's clients need applications in this ecosystem, whether it's the CRM side, like sales software, to accounting, and obviously Power Platform to go and do some automation, and everything, Power BI to do dashboarding and that kind of stuff. So clients need this. Well, as an MSP, what is part of the job of an MSP is to provide strategic guidance on their technology, even if you don't do it. Now, if you do it, obviously, then you have to. But even the things that you don't do, you should guide them, even if you don't actually do the work yourself. And if they don't do that, what's going to happen? They're going to go find some random company to work with. Well, that random Dynamics company may work with some other MSPs. Well, what's the first thing they're going to do? They're going to get their MSP friends in there and try to take over the client, that kind of stuff. So for me, for the dynamic space, it's about the MSP controlling their controllables, providing that guidance, and make sure you guide your clients to partners that will work with you and actually partner with you and the client, and not just try to come in and take business.
Oh, I love it. 100%. So tell me a little bit about TruNorth. And I mean, I know you said that you're just super hyper focused, but what's your actual specialty? Because Dynamics is kind of like, the cloud. So tell me what your specialty is here.
So it is a big space. It's almost a little bit like Azure. Azure, not as big. Azure has like thousands of things. Dynamics is a little bit smaller. It is about 45 business applications. So think accounting, sales software, field service like rolling trucks, to customer service like ticketing, project management. I mean, there's a little bit of everything. And so it's a big space. And then you add Power Platform, which really is more like a development platform. You can build little, mobile apps on it that all integrates together into one ecosystem. So thinking of, if you have a CRM software and you want to build a little easy sales app for the sales team that's out in the field, you could do that. Same data, same system, all integrated, and it works really smoothly. So what we do is for the SME into mid-market. So everything from relatively small businesses, maybe they have 25 to 50 people, all the way up to 5,000 or so, so well into mid-market. And we can cover pretty much everything in the business. So we do everything from a specific part of the business. So maybe they just want a CRM to track their sales, and that's it. For some clients, we do literally everything in the business. So the most common one is manufacturing. They need everything from raw materials to transportation to warehousing to obviously doing the manufacturing, to then additional transportation at the end, and then the support on the back end. And managing all of that is what Dynamics can do. So really, it can put all of that into one system, one database, and it's super flexible, super customizable, so you can make it fit the business. I mean, most MSPs have at least seen ConnectWise at one point. ConnectWise is fine, but it does ConnectWise. And if you don't like that, well, that kind of sucks. You can't really do much. Dynamics is the opposite. It's really something you can take and fit the business, which is why it's such a great space to be in.
Awesome. And so, all right, I'm a partner, right? And I'm going to say, we don't do Dynamics. What do you say to that?
We actually get that a lot. And, we go to a fair amount of shows. If anybody been to the Challenge Company events, Exchange or Next Gen, we used to go to IT Nation. We haven't gone anymore, but we definitely were at Pax8 Beyond. And if you're not going to Pax8 Beyond, you should. I'm sure we'll be at Pax8 Beyond next year as well. And here, that's not from Pax8 Beyond. This is, I think, from an ASCII event, actually. But we go to a lot of MSP shows, and it's the most common response we get. But kind of what I said before, make sure you control your controllables. Make sure you guide your clients in these things. When they have their accounting software isn't working, or maybe they're outgrowing QuickBooks, or maybe they track sales on spreadsheets. It's 2025. They should not be doing this. It still happens. It's kind of shocking, but fairly sizable companies still you do stuff on spreadsheets, and it's crazy. Don't turn them away. Don't let them just go talk to someone else. Not only for just Dynamics, but you also want to make sure you got them some of the surrounding things, because the things that we do sometimes affects the MSP. Maybe we're decommissioning servers. Maybe we need something, related to Azure. Maybe we need something with modern work and Office 365. There's going to be pieces that we need to pull the MSP back into it. And particularly with my background, I understand the MSP space. So we know when to bring the MSP partner back in when needed. So ultimately, yeah,
I
that's the
love
easiest
it.
way I can explain it.
No, and I mean, I think that's clear because I mean, obviously, as a partner, right, you want to give the full service and you don't want them having to say, like, okay, well, I'm going to go over here and there's potential they could steal your business. I mean, TruNorth, obviously, you're going to send them back to this direct partner. It's all centrally located. So I like the idea. But like, why do partners avoid it? Like, what is the myth? Like, what is the fear behind Dynamics?
Because it's scary, and honestly, if I'm thinking back to when I was MSP, it was scary. So slight backstory to kind of maybe help set the stage. We acquired what is now TruNorth Dynamics back in 2018. It was a it was a dynamics company that did this work. We acquired them with this vision. We're going to combine them. We're going to create a unified help desk. We can help clients from everything from laptops and Outlook all the way into the business itself and how they're running the business. It sounds like a good idea, and it was a terrible idea. So we kind of learned the hard way. It is a really interesting, difficult space because you're really working on the business itself. It's actually business process. It's how the business flows. You're thinking like a manufacturing company. You are touching every part of the business. So when we're working with a client, we're meeting with the various teams at the client, not only the managers, but also we want to talk to the team to see how they use it. And more importantly, not just what they're currently doing, but how can we make it even better, more automated. And so it is a very different space. It's very different from kind of the IT world, and the way we approach it with client is also very different. And so I totally understand that kind of initial reactions, like I don't want nothing to do with Dynamics, and it's fine. You actually don't need necessarily to do Dynamics. You still need to guide your clients with kind of where to go with those kind of questions and needs that they may have, but then have a process for how to handle that. So having a kind of referral process in your VCIO or account management process, whether it's Dynamics, it could be cabling, could be access control, security cameras. If you don't do those things, don't let your client just go talk to random companies. Make sure you find great partners that you can work with and bring those in to work with you, not just, hand them off to something and let the client run with stuff, because it will affect you in some way or another. It will always affect you. So ultimately our job, and obviously part of that is because of my experience, our job is to help make it not scary and make it super easy. And that's a lot of how we structure our process around our partnerships, is to make it not scary. And I know it's easy to say, and I've had this conversation a few times, because every vendor says, sign up and work with us. It's super easy. Magic happens. You make a bunch of money. In 20 whatever years with MSP, it's never been true. I think we are the exception to the rule in this case. We are actually that easy.
I love it. I love it. So, okay, I think we've got a good base layer. And okay, there's not one call, one show, one anything that I do where AI does not come up. Okay, so let's just get this one straight out of the gate here, because it's a hot topic all up. But how do we make AI maybe just more practical for partners as an investment overall? Does that tie into Dynamics?
It does. There's kind of a couple, well, there's a bunch of parts to it, but kind of two big parts of it. If anybody watching went to Pax8 Beyond, obviously the big topic was being a managed intelligence partner. And that is what I call general AI, or with the SKU that is Copilot, the kind of chat bot and that kind of stuff, and doing agents, that kind of stuff. So that's kind of the general AI. Because of our space, we put most of our focus into the Dynamics and Power Platform specific pieces of Copilot. Not unlike normal for Microsoft, to make the messaging a little bit unclear, because they use Copilot for a bunch of different things. So there's the Copilot chat agents, so like the ChatGPT of there's also the agents, so building agents, which actually was something that used to be called virtual power agents, I think is what used to be called. Now it's rebranded to Copilot agents. That one does tie into Dynamics. And then obviously there's Dynamics specific pieces. So every Dynamics app does have Copilot functionality in it. So that's where we really focus. Why? Because it's very practical. It does specific things inside of the applications. So for example, when you're in Business Central, which is the accounting side, you can ask questions of the chat, the chat thing that's inside of a BC, and knows how to kind of talk to a database and that kind of stuff. So for us, it is a very practical thing. The reality is, even at this point, clients aren't asking for it. It is actually really interesting. It's all over the media and that kind of stuff. I think what clients are craving is practical uses that makes them better, more efficient, and that's what we focus on. And really, Microsoft has done a really good job adding these practical pieces to make that easy. So it's not the general stuff; it's more the specific. And then we can certainly build out Copilot agents as well to do certain things. It's still pretty early. It is certainly a version 1 product at this point, but it's getting better all the time, and you can already do a lot of interesting things with that. Thinking like a call center, for example. In fact, there's a application for Dynamics now called Call Center. Maybe not the most original name, but everybody knows what it does. But anyway, so you can have a large call center that you can do, obviously, chatbots, and that all clients absolutely love. Anyway, they can be good if they're done right, but it's certainly a challenge. But yes, that is becoming more and more part of what we do. But it is interesting. It is kind of us coming to clients like, hey, we can help you with these things, especially this mid-market or large clients. They're not really pushing very hard for it. It will happen, but it's still early in the AI gold rush, I think.
I think that the people who are getting out in front of this ahead of time, right? I think that they're going to see the benefits very, very quickly. They're going to feel very confident, very comfortable as it comes. But, I will never let this one statement go that my Azure lead, Elliot Chandler, said. And he says, we sell Azure by not selling Azure. And I was like, I heard him say this and I was like, we do what? And I was like, and you're saying this and it's recorded out there, okay? However, I get what he's saying. Like, nobody wants to go talk about blob storage, right? So, I mean, do you see Dynamics in kind of the same way? Like, we're not talking about go buy this SKU. It sounds like it's more of that open conversation.
It is. And whether it's AI for us or whether it's Dynamics, Power Platform, Power BI, those are the things that we do. Those are the tools that we use. Those are the tools of our trade. We don't sell that way. So we are a little bit unique. Even MSPs to an extent, you're not really selling IT anymore. You're selling security, right? You're selling kind of like insurance, confidence, etc. For us, we sell automation, efficiencies, more data, more insights, more connected pieces in your business, and being able to see what's happening in your business. And so we don't come in and sell the specific pieces. In fact, we've been working with Pax8 since 2017. It's been a long time. And oftentimes, when we get, leads through Pax8, with a partner, it starts with an application, BC or, Business Central or sales or whatever the case may be. But very quickly, we want to engage with the client, understand what they're looking to solve for, because it's not about the application. Those are just things. Those are SKUs. Those are things we got to do. But what is it actually going to do for a client, and what do they need to be able to do that? So, I mean, that speaks a lot to me, because it is the ethos of our sales process is don't go sell a thing, because clients don't care about the things. They don't care about which application or which piece of Power Platform or any of that stuff. They want results. They want how it helps them. We are just humans helping other humans have a better job, or, make their day a little bit easier. That's ultimately what we're here to do. And so very quickly we changed that conversation from the specific stuff more to like what do you need help with, and how can we actually help solve those problems for you?
I like it. And so I want to go kind of one layer deeper here, because like, what is the root cause? Like, what are we fixing with Dynamics? Like, if I'm a partner, where should alarm bells and red flags be going off that I'm like, this is a Dynamics conversation, it's heading this way? Like, what are those things that I should be on alert for?
There are some really common ones. Right now, a few of them are legacy accounting or ERP software. So think, or they're outgrowing. So obviously, if they have QuickBooks Desktop, they're going to have to move to something because it's going away. Maybe they go to QuickBooks Online. Maybe, there's Xero. There's a lot of applications. But if they're growing as a company, they need more real accounting. So Business Central moves into that next stage where you have fully auditable accounting, where, because in QuickBooks, you can kind of do whatever you want. You can delete stuff. And it's like, okay, in your accounting, you maybe shouldn't be able to delete stuff. And so it kind of depends on their needs. So a very common one is outgrowing their kind of current systems. Another big one is some of the legacy software. So Microsoft acquired a bunch of ERP software 15 years ago-ish. So it was Great Plains, which is now called GP. It was Solomon, which is now SL and end of life. So that one's gone. There was Navision, which is now Nav/BC, so Nav is actually what ended up becoming Business Central. So it's kind of a rebranded Navision. But if you have clients on any of those legacy softwares, Nav is end of life as of this last summer. Solomon was end of life like 1 or 2 years ago. GP is officially ending of life end of 2029, I think. Anyway, don't hold me to that. There's too many numbers. But in the next few years, it will be done. And they're going to have to move off. Well, you never want to wait till the end. Why? Because there's enough GP customers left. I think there's like 30,000 customers left with GP. If everybody waits until 2028, there's not enough partners in the world to move all of those in like 1 year. It's not possible. So what are they going to do? So that's a really common one. There's some Sage, not the newer ones, but there's like Sage 100, 200. There's some of those that certainly, old software, think like the DOS, or there's, God forbid, like AS400 still out there running some old software. But any kind of legacy software is a really good candidate. The kind of little bit harder to identify is they have kind of separate systems and nothing is connected. They have accounting and they have this and all these pieces and nothing talks to each other, and it's a manual process. You depend on humans moving things around, which is a terrible idea. It's 2025. We can connect all this stuff. We can automate that. We can integrate all the pieces. That doesn't mean everything has to be replaced. It means we can put in pieces and then integrate with some of the existing systems if they don't want to replace everything. So we can do everything from inserting and connecting pieces to we want to gut everything and replace it. We generally don't recommend it. It's kind of like an MSP, right? If they want to rip and replace everything in their office, that's a big undertaking as one project. So change management wise, we really like to kind of phase it out, not only for budgeting for the client, but also be handling change, because change is easily the hardest part. Changing a system, the user enablement is key,
It's
which is
the
also why we do a lot of
users.
training.
It's
Users are
people
the hardest
like
part.
me.
Understandably so. I mean, change sometimes just kind of sucks.
It does. And,
Even when it's better.
it's supposed to be for the better, but man, if I've done something this way, the whole like, if it's not broke, don't fix it. So sometimes you got to like also change that mindset, and it takes a little bit of time to get, people bought in. They are people. So, okay, I like where we're going here. So now I'm a partner. I have no Dynamics experience. Tell me what it's like to work with TruNorth. Like, are you talking directly to my end customer? Because I know we talk about this partner to partner motion, P2P. Look, the first P in this sentence right here gets a little nervous sometimes. So walk me through this.
It's a great question. And we have two venues to work through. So the more common one is a referral basis, where the partner brings us in with the client and we kind of take it from there. Now, oftentimes MSP stays part of that to an extent. Typically find the partner drops off pretty quick because they're like, okay, they got this. We don't need to be involved with this. We're always going to pull you in when you need it. If there's an Azure thing or a server thing, anything, we're going to make sure we bring you in. So that's the most common one. That's the super hands-off, super easy. It's literally as easy as sending an email to your client, CCing us, and say, hey, I want you to meet this company that does this really cool work. You should really talk to them. They can help you with this challenge that you have. So that's the super easy button. So when we say the easy button, that's literally how easy it is. When I say we're an exception to the vendor rule, it can be that easy. Now, if you have some expertise internally, if you want to stay involved with pieces, we can accommodate that too. We do work with partners that have, where, I always like to say we play well in the sandbox. My background's MSP. I know that MSPs are all different. It's going to be one that are hyper-focused, some that have more expertise internally. We're going to figure out how to work together and make the best out of it. The second one is a bit more lift for the partner, but you can actually resell what we do through Pax8. So we're actually in the Pax8 marketplace. You can actually transact pretty much anything that we do through that. Now, obviously, that at minimum, you do have to do the billing piece, which again is a little bit more of a lift. We still have to engage with the client because ultimately we're engaging with the teams. We're talking to the various teams of the client, and we have to understand how their business is working, what's not, and that kind of stuff. And truly being in the middle of that, I think is very difficult. But we can still do it as a partnership, working together and that kind of stuff. But we are finding most MSPs, they don't really want to be involved, kind of past the kind of the first couple meetings, but if they want to, that's great too. So we can accommodate everything from crazy simple to not as simple and a little bit more interesting. And so that's kind of the name I gave for us, is how do we meet the MSPs where they are? Because MSPs are going to have different needs. So let's figure out how to do that. Now, that does create operational maturity for us. Well, but that was part of my decision. If we're going to do this P2P thing, we're going to do it well. We're going to do it where we can accommodate and just be like, this is the TruNorth way, and sucks to be you. This is just how it works. We just build it into our process. So as an example of other areas we do that's not partners, is our billing process. We do projects from small projects to a few $1,000s into $1.5 million size projects, so which could be 12 months, 16 months. Those are big undertakings. They're a long period of time. Billing is a big deal, right? If you're billing $1 or $1.5 million, that gets a little interesting. How do you do that billing in a project? Because some projects are a little bit of work up front and then it ramps a lot toward the end. Some are more even and that kind of stuff. So we actually have multiple billing options for the clients. So they can choose how they want billing to work, so that if they would rather spend more money up front, we can accommodate that. If they want to do consistent bill, we can do that. If they want to bill as we use time, we can do that. And everybody's kind of shocked that we're willing to do this, because they're like, well, that creates a lot of financial process challenges for us. And yeah, to an extent, but we work with regular companies, nonprofits, local governments. We've done some federal stuff. We've done Native American areas, and they're all going to have different requirements and restrictions on their billing. So we're here to meet people where they are, whether it's a partner or a client. It's not just about the TruNorth way. It's about how do we make it easy for people to work with us in all the ways. And we're not perfect, but we try really hard to get as close as we can. And that's part of my commitment of being a good company. And I always say, we're just humans working with other humans, whether it's partnering or clients. Hey, we got to like the people we're working with and appreciate each other and work with each other and work through problems. And when clients are going to be difficult, sometimes it's just not a good fit. And anyway, that's just part of our ethos, I guess.
No, and I love it, because I think here's the thing, is that TruNorth could really be the easy button. And obviously, I've been at Pax8 for almost 5 years. Your relationship with Pax8 actually predates that. And we've brought you into a ton of different, opportunities and things, and you've always taken great care of our partners and their end customers. But I know this show just goes so quickly. And my biggest challenge out to partners is like, don't slam the door on Dynamics. Like, there's so many amazing partners and solutions, and looking at the full service. So before we wrap up, is there any final words that you would want to leave our partners with?
I would echo that. Don't say no. Redirect them or guide them. That's all that's asked of you. Don't. And if you want to do more, that's awesome. And I'm happy to talk to people. My Calendly link to schedule time with me is literally on my LinkedIn profile, which mostly has been good. Every once in a while, people schedule some interesting things. I'm always willing to share. This is part of my MSP background, right? MSP industry is super sharing about business and best practices and working better together. And the dynamic space is not, but I would love to be part of that change to help drive that, because I do miss that from the MSP days, and I want to be part of that kind of community. And Pax8 has been instrumental in that and helping bringing partners together. And so just don't say no. Help bring us in. A discovery call is free, right? It costs nothing. Pull us in an email. If it's Pax8 Marketplace, you can order the discovery call right on there. It's free. Just like working with Pax8 Professional Services works exactly the same way. Sometimes, if it's better to start with Pax8 Professional Services, they can help get the process started. And if it needs the things that we do, we'll get pulled in as well. So just don't say no. Guide your clients. Don't leave the chance. Don't let them talk to some random company. Make sure you build partnerships and have those referrals available. Like I said, not just Dynamics. You should do it for, like I said, the security cameras and these other things. You are the hub with your client. You should be their trusted advisor. So make sure, because if you ever say no, they're going to stop coming to you. You don't want that to happen. They always want them to come to you, because you always have an answer, even if that's not necessarily you doing the work. but you're going to guide them to somebody that will help take care of them. That's my number one advice to everyone. And if nothing else, just come and talk to us. We'd be happy to talk to you more.
I love it, man. They've almost always been good. Now I've got to know a little bit. I'm going to go schedule a call and see if I can skew those numbers on your LinkedIn a little bit, Ole. But I appreciate you. It's always good to chat. And I just want to say thank you so much for your time. This has been super, super insightful. So we appreciate you.
Thanks for having me on there, Kristen. Appreciate it.
All righty. Excellent. All right. It's not a Technically Unraveled without a co-pilot tip of the week. Let's check it out.
Want to share your custom AI agent with the world? In Copilot Studio, you can. Hey, I'm Willis. In this week's Copilot Tip of the Week, we're finishing up your introductory agent journey with personalization and publishing. Change icon, language, intro message. Make your agent unique. Give it a custom icon, update the language, and write a warm welcome message like, "Hi there. I'm here to help you all learn about agents." Next, suggested prompts. Copilot can recommend questions users might ask, like, "What is an agent?" or "How do I create an agent?" Publish workflow. Demo website. Ready to go live? Hit publish, and Copilot gives you a demo website URL you can share. Now anyone can interact with your agent, no install required. That's the full journey. Build, test, publish. With Copilot Studio, making smart agents is just that simple. See you next time with another Copilot Tip of the Week.
Oh, a big thank you to Willis for our co-pilot tip of the week, and a big thank you to Ole for coming on from TruNorth, talking to us about all things dynamics. Well, I want to make sure that you like, share, and subscribe, because next time on Technically Unraveled, we are bringing back Ashley Moretti. We are going to break down the Microsoft AI Cloud Partner Program, all those points, all those questions you have, bring those to that show, and I look forward to talking to you there. See you soon.